Once Randy goes red, then we'll go live, right?
Okay. Okay, hi guys. Nice to see you all again. I must have saw some of you last week. My name is Lindsay from Hamilton Aquatics. I work at Jumeirah College, so hopefully some of you guys will come from there. Alvaro, he's going to be teaching the workout today, but as you can see on the screen today, we're going to have a little chat about mindfulness, okay? Before we go on to the next slide, I'm pretty sure some of you guys will already know what this is, but it would be good if you could just post in the chat just what you think mindfulness is. Wrong answers are good too, okay? So just any type of guess. There's a few photos on the screen there that might give you a few clues as to what it is. So I'll just give you another minute or so just to look at these photos and write in the chat a little guess as to what you think mindfulness is. Okay, I've got a little definition on the next slide, so we'll just go to that now. So what is mindfulness? Okay, so mindfulness is all about bringing your attention and focus into the present moment. Okay, so it's not about thinking about what the possibilities are in the future, maybe things that have gone wrong in the past that you might be worrying about. It's all about taking a moment and just bringing your mind in it, thinking what is happening right now? How do I feel in this current time? So once you notice those, it's about understanding those feelings, so why you're feeling like that, and then accepting your feelings and surroundings. Okay, so probably you're thinking, after I've just read that definition of what is mindfulness, you're thinking, why is somebody from Hamilton Aquatics who coaches swimming talking about mindfulness? Okay, so we will get onto that. Mindfulness and thinking loads of different parts of your brain is really important in being a good athlete, and we'll talk a little bit about athletes that use mindfulness as well. Okay, so again, why are we talking about it? So people do mindfulness every single day. Athletes will do it no matter what the circumstances, but especially with the circumstances that we're all currently in with obviously coronavirus, we're in a complete different routine as to what we usually would be in. Okay, so now we could say it's more important than ever to be mindful. Okay, so obviously our daily routines are completely disrupted. You guys are no longer going to school, you're not seeing your friends, and there's nothing really you guys can do about it. You've just got to do the online learning that you're told to do and just hopefully wait and see until when you guys can go back to normal life. Okay, so you guys not knowing that and having a little bit of anticipation can make you feel a little bit nervous, a little bit have some anxiety. So it's really good for you to be a bit mindful of those feelings so that you don't get carried away with it and you don't start to feel really bad. Okay. So we're going to talk about how mindfulness helps us. Okay, so it helps to calm the body after stress or a negative feeling. Okay, so what I want you to think about is if you've got a negative feeling, or say you've got a swimming race coming up on the weekend. Okay, so it's a Wednesday. On Friday, you've got the most important swimming race that you're doing throughout the entire year. Okay, that one little inch of worry, think of it as like a snowball on the top of a mountain. Okay, so you're on top of a mountain, it's just a tiny little snowball. Because you're worrying about it so much, that snowball starts to roll down the hill, and you know when you roll a snowball and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So what happens is that tiny little negative feeling at the start on the Wednesday, by the Friday, can turn into a massive big snowball of just horrible negative feelings. And if you're feeling like that, when you go into a race, it's probably, you're going to not swim very well. You're going to be distracted. Your body's going to tense up, so your stroke's not going to be as good. So it's really important that we stay mindfulness, so that that tiny little snowball at the top of the mountain stays as a tiny little snowball on top of the mountain. Okay, because otherwise it can get really out of control and it can really affect your swimming. Okay. It also helps focus the mind on the present. So this is a good one when you're doing training as well. So I know swimming is one of those things, because you're not talking to anybody whilst you're in the pool, you're just heads in the water and you're swimming, your mind can start to wander all over the place, okay, which is absolutely fine, okay? It's really hard for your mind not to wander when you're swimming, okay? When I swam, it was almost really therapeutic for me to get into the water and just to let my mind wander. But if your mind's wandering onto negative things and it gets really distracted, then it can get to a point where then it's affecting your training. So you might end up forgetting what the coach has told you to do, not concentrating on the technique, forgetting what stroke you're supposed to be doing. So it can really affect your training as well as your final performance as well. The next one, it also helps us get better sleep. So I'm sure you guys will know if you've got anything big coming up. So if you've got a big presentation at school to do, if you've got a swimming race, a really important one, or any type of swimming race, if you've got just any type of big event that you really care about, the night before, you're probably not going to sleep the best because you're going to be worrying about it. Whereas if you do some of these mindful activities that I'm going to come on to show you, it can help you just focus on the present moment and accept all those feelings that you are feeling, and just help you get a little bit better night's sleep at night, just so that you are ready for the next day, ready for your presentation, ready for your swimming race, whatever it is that you're doing. The next one is that it improves attention. Okay, so when I swam, I used to swim for 2 hours training sessions at a time. Okay, so it used to be sometimes twice a day, sometimes once a day, 2 hours at a time, which used to be quite difficult for me when I was younger. So I was swimming up until I was 13. So probably about how old you guys are now. It's really hard to stay attentive for that long. Okay, even as an adult now, I find it difficult. If somebody was talking at me, I did the same thing for 2 hours. I would find it really difficult to concentrate if I wasn't doing these mindful activities. Okay, so since I've started to do them, I've really noticed that I can stay attentive for longer, and I'm just more concentrated and involved in what is going on in that moment. The next one helps reduce any negative thoughts. So that's pretty much the same as the first one, except this one is preventative. So if you think the first one I talked about is you've already had the negative feeling, so that's when you do your mindfulness and it helps reduce it after. This time, if you think of if you did mindfulness the same time, so if you woke up at 7 a.m. and did 10 minutes of just mindfulness activities every single day, it helps reduce those negative thoughts coming towards you anyways. Okay, so you don't have to then get rid of this big negative feeling. It just reduces negative feelings across the board, which is really, really good, especially when you're spending so much time at home at the minute. And the last one is that it gives us more energy. Okay, which we always want more energy, especially when we're training, when we're in a competition, because you know the more energetic you are, the harder you're going to end up training. Okay, so it might sound really silly at the moment when you think, how is 10 minutes of mindfulness going to give me more energy? How is it going to make me train better? If you try it, it really, really does. And so many athletes, elite athletes, swear by it. So I put Michael Phelps there, and he said something in one interview one time. I'll hopefully find the video and I will send it over to you guys. But he swears that mindfulness and lots of different psychological training, which is training of the mind, helped him get to where he was. And he doesn't believe that he would have been as successful as he was if he wasn't doing the mindfulness activities. So it is really important that you are doing mindful activities if you want to be the next Michael Phelps, which would be pretty cool. So I've put at the bottom there, better and faster performances. Okay, so again, like I say, it all sounds very silly, and sometimes mindfulness is silly. When I go onto the next screen, you'll see that some of the activities they are silly, but that's okay, because when you're doing these silly things, it just makes you calmer, and it really does help. But it will affect your performance in the pool. You will have a better performance. You will be able to swim faster if you're doing these mindful activities. Okay. I'll just go on to the next slide here. So how do we practice mindfulness? Okay. So these are the things that we can do that can have all of those positive outcomes. So glitter in a bottle of water. This is quite a nice one. A lot of the younger children and the younger swimmers do this. I know a lot of the swimmers in my squad have done the glitter in a bottle of water. So all that is a bottle of water, pour some glitter in, pour some fairy up liquid in so the glitter doesn't stick, and you just shake the bottle. And you can do this before you get out of bed, before you go to bed, and all you do is just watch the glitter sink to the bottom of the bottle. Okay, and it's really therapeutic. It takes your mind off anything else that you might be finding distracting, that you might be finding stressful, and that is a really good way to just calm your mind. The next one is tapping. If you've heard of any of these, guys, you can post in the chat whilst I'm talking through them. See if you can beat me to them. So the tapping one is where you tap different parts of your body whilst telling yourself an emotion that you're feeling. So if you've had a terrible day at school, you would tap different parts of your body and just say out loud to yourself, I've had a terrible day at school, but that's okay. I've had a terrible day at school, but I've got a great afternoon planned. Or so just different things that when you tap your body, it brings your mind to the feeling that you're doing. And as you're saying out loud the emotion that you're feeling, it just releases any of that anxiety that you might be feeling. So this is what I'm saying. It's silly. You are sitting there tapping yourself. You might look very, very silly like I do now, but it really does help. And a lot of these elite athletes, like Adam Peaty, he does all of these as well. So it is really good for you to practice these. Next one is a body scan. So this one's very good and almost links in with meditation a little bit. So if you just get a moment, if you just get a mat, or you can do it in bed, just lay down, and basically all you're doing is scanning your body from head to toe. So if you think about a light and it's just going over your body really, really slowly, and you're just thinking about how your body feels in each moment. Okay, so you can start at your head, start at your toes, and just work your way down or up, and just think, how does that part of my body feel? If it's a good feeling, that's fine. If it's a bad feeling, you just accept it and then move on to the next part of the body. Okay, what we don't want to do when we do that is, say if we get to our shoulders and we've got a sore shoulder and we think, oh my God, I've got a sore shoulder. How's that going to affect my swimming? How am I going to be able to train if I've not got a sore shoulder? Okay, so we don't want to get stuck on parts of the body. We just want to make it flow all the way down, just accepting how each part of our body feels at that moment. RAIN is pretty much linked in with all of these. So RAIN is just about recognizing your emotions, accepting them, and then investigating why you're having that feeling anyways. Okay, so if you wake up really angry one day, just recognize that you're angry. So it might be somebody's told you you're angry, and you have to recognize it yourself, accept that you might be feeling a little bit angry, but then investigate why you're feeling like that in the first place. And once you've done that, then you can move on from it. Breathing exercises and yoga and meditation all link in. So yoga is a great one. I've been doing a 30-day yoga challenge. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few of my swimmers that have been doing these as well, which is quite fun. So whenever you're doing yoga, you'll come across these breathing exercises as well, when you're inhaling on an inward movement and then exhaling into a deeper position. And that just, again, brings your mind to focus on your breathing rather than any negative flying thoughts that you might be having. Visualization, this one is probably the most popular one with our elite athletes. So I know last week we had Ivan Lender talking to you guys, who was went to 2 Olympics. He was telling me about his visualization experience. So before the Olympics, he would visualize that exact race months before the Olympics. So he already had in his mind exactly what his race would look like. and then what it would feel like. So when you do visualization, you have to go through the senses. So what can you smell? What can you see? What can you feel? Okay, and you go through them, and you've got to try best to create this image in your mind. And once you've got that, it makes things so much less daunting. And you can do that with anything as well. Okay, so it doesn't have to be something so big like the Olympics. Okay, you can do it for one of your school races, one of your school events. And if you just visualize it, it just makes things less unknown, and you create it in your mind, and it just calms you down a little bit. Writing a diary, so really basic, just get your feelings out on paper, and it's good for them to like go through that, read it back maybe a couple of days later, which is quite good. And the next one is positive self-talk. Okay, so this one again is really popular with our elite swimmers. So it's just giving yourself a little bit of a pick-me-up, I call it. So a good way of doing this is to get some post-it notes and just post them around really common places that you visit around your house. So it could be on your bathroom mirror, could be on your TV, on your fridge, anywhere you like, on your laptop, if you're spending a lot of time on your laptop recently. And on each post-it, you're just going to write a little positive moment for you. So it can be like, I'm a great swimmer, or I can swim 50 meters fast, or just something like that, something that's going to give you a little bit of a pick-me-up. And the more you read that, the more you start believing in yourself, and then the better you're going to be able to perform. Okay, so you don't have to do, now I've listed quite a few there. I'm not saying you have to do all of them to be good at mindfulness. If you just think of, or just pick one of them, and then just really get good at doing it, because it does take a bit of time to get good at it, then that is going to help your performance. Okay, so it can be any little one thing that you can do, and give it a go. Keep practicing it every day, every other day, and it really will help your performance. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to now pass over to Alvaro. Okay, and Alvaro is going to take you through some bodyweight exercises and get you a little bit sweaty. Okay, so everybody up on your feet.
Okay, guys. So I'm sure you can see now my screen. Thank you, Lindsay. My name is Alvaro. I've been working for Hamilton for the last 2 years in Abu Dhabi, and now I'm based in Dubai since February. Today we're going to do body weight training. It means that for this exercise you just need your own body. You don't need any kind of equipment, which is quite good in this scenario that you need to spend a lot of time at home. Okay, we're going to go first with a quick warm-up. I'm going to explain it quite quickly. The warm-up is important, as you know, because basically it increases the speed of your heart, therefore more blood is pumping through your muscles, and therefore more oxygen in your muscles. The body of the temperature of your body increase, and then you are ready for exercise. And the most important thing, guys, is that you avoid injuries. Remember that one bad injury can ruin the whole term, the whole training plan that you were having for a competition. So just take the warm-up quite the same importance that should have, right? So as you can see on the screen, we can do 3-4 exercises. Probably you know already this exercise. First one, try to bring your knees as high as you can, jogging with your knees up. Okay, let me fix the camera, guys. Sorry. Okay, I think now it should be good. So as I said, you just need to bring your knees as high as you can. Okay, that would be the first exercise. You can do this for around 30 seconds. 30 seconds rest. While you are resting, it's important that you have a little bottle of water to drink. Okay. The second one, it could be bringing your heels up to your back. Okay, up to your back. Jogging on the same spot, okay, bringing your heels. The third one, it could be jumping jacks. Probably you know this one already. You open your legs like 1 meter apart, you open your arms, and then you jump and close, okay? it's important, guys, that you don't go too fast, okay? So you are not gonna lose the quality, okay? And the last exercise, it can be skipping on the same spot, okay? Just imagine that you are holding a rope and you are just jumping small, jumping big, jumping fast, slow, okay? It's pretty easy and your whole body will be warm. First, on body training, we are going to work on the upper body. As you can see, we are going to start with Supermans, okay? Supermans with arms, with legs, and then with all the body, okay? So basically, you just need to lay on your back, okay, in your front. Make sure that your back is straight, and you can hold this position with the left arm straight. Make sure that your whole back and your body is in line, okay? Streamline is very important when you are swimming. You can do the same with your right arm, okay? Looking down, making sure that you keep your straight arm, straight back, okay? Very good. And then you can do the same with your knees, okay? So if you keep your legs up straight, it's very, very useful if you can have a mirror with you, so you can see in front of you if your whole body is straight, if you keep your core, your back, your head, everything in the same position. So you are going to glide much more in your races. As I said, you can do 15 seconds with your left leg, then you can do 15 seconds with your right leg, okay? The last progression of this exercise will be arms and legs at the same time, okay? So basically, you need to work with the opposite arm and the opposite leg, okay? So if you are lifting your left arm, you are gonna keep your head down, as I said, and lifting your right leg, okay? You hold this position 15 seconds, and then you swap. You change your right arm with your left leg, okay? Again, make sure that your body is always streamlined. Okay. Next part, we're gonna work on the legs very quickly again. We can do flutter kicks. I'm sure you know, most of you know how to do this exercise. You lay on your back, okay, and you keep your legs up and kicking with your legs straight. Very small kicks with your legs very close to the floor, okay? I'm talking about maybe 10-15 seconds, okay? Very good. As you can see there, we are going to do squats, and the next progression will be bunny jumps, okay? I think you practiced this already this week. The squats, you keep your body straight, okay? And until your thighs are parallel to the floor, okay? Keep your body straight, up and down, okay? Make sure that your body stays straight, and separate your feet a little bit so you can go lower, okay? The next progression, it could be bunny jumps. I think you practiced this already this week. You can do this exercise for around 30 seconds. Again, 30 seconds join and 30 seconds rest. Drinking water during the rest time, so you are going to keep yourself hydrated. As I said, bunny jumps, you bend, as you were doing before, and on the way up is when you put all the effort to jump, okay? One more time, sideways, 90 degrees, okay? Your thighs parallel to the ground, and jumping when you go up, okay? Very good. Last, we're gonna work on the core, okay? Very important to work on your pectorals, on your abdominals. So, we're gonna start with planks. The first one, it would be very easy. Actually, it's too easy. On your knees, there is actually not too much effort here. You're on your knees and you put your elbows down. You can maintain this position for too long because it's not really demanding. So basically, once you got this position, you should go into your feet to your elbows. So again, you keep your elbows away, maybe 20-30 centimeters away, and making sure you keep your body straight, okay? Don't bring your hips too high, don't keep your hips too low, your whole body is straight, okay? Very good. If you can maintain this position for 30 seconds, 1 minute, as always, guys, the more you practice, the better you are, okay? One of the last progressions of this class, it could be with your arms straight, okay? Just holding there, making sure that your body is straight, okay? Very good. Again, you can make it 30 seconds or 1 minute. And the last one, this is really challenging. This can be a real challenge with one arm, okay? You start with both elbows on the floor, and with one arm, you try to maintain your body straight and up, okay? This, as I said, is very challenging. So basically, this is just an overall view of how the body weight training can be. As always, guys, after you are doing an exercise, remember to stretch after you do it. Always top to the bottom, and make sure that you are stretching slowly, okay? Not rush anything, because basically stretching is important for your muscles. It keeps your muscles flexible, it keeps your muscles strong and healthy. Without stretching, muscles got shorter. You lose flexibility, you lose movement on your joints, and it's important as well, as you know, for recovery onto the next session. So that's it. I don't know if my colleague wants to join something else, but I think that's all for today. Lindsay, all good?
Yeah, all good, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a bit sweaty there, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.